Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. My name's Mike Amos. We're coming to you from our studios on South Brundy Street in Troy, Alabama. If you're watching us on Facebook this morning, and we want to wish you a very nice morning. There's a beautiful morning out there right now. And we got a call coming in. You're on Today in LA. Good morning.
Hey, morning.
And the Auburn Tigers are going back to the College World Series, Mike, after trouncing North Carolina.
Yeah, how good do you feel as a coach when you take a 13-zip lead in the first inning?
Oh, man.
That's pretty incredible.
No question about it. And
I've been to a lot of sporting events, and I think I would have probably left if my team got down 13-0 after the first inning. I don't think I could have handled that. Could you?
No. What did they do? Just hit a bunch of home runs or what?
No, the guy walked the first four guys he faced.
Oh, did he? So he ran out of pitching.
So just put a bunch of guys on base, and credit to Auburn though. They did what they had to do, and North Carolina ended up scoring 7 runs, but of course, wasn't enough. But man, what an athletic season for Auburn. Basketball goes to the Final Four. The women's, I think the women's basketball made the NCAA tournament, but then you got baseball going to Omaha. Just amazing what's been going on in Auburn this year.
No question about it, and of course, congratulations.
You'll have Arkansas out of the SEC. You'll have Vanderbilt out of the SEC. You'll have Mississippi State. So you'll have 4 out of the 8 teams are going to be SEC teams.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. I watched a lot of the Mississippi State series against Stanford. Man, they look really good. They're just really good up and down the lineup. And I enjoyed watching a little college baseball. I hadn't done that in a long time. It's fun how they cover all these games. I didn't get to watch too much of Auburn yesterday. I watched a little bit. But, banner year for Auburn athletics. If they can get football to come around, which is all anybody really cares about, no telling what could happen there.
No question about it. Want to congratulate Kate Warwick of Goshen High School, made first team All-State in softball, and she's always been one of my favorite players, and it's great to see
She's
that.
your favorite redhead?
Yes, sir. Pretty redhead, no question about it. Of course, Brock Huner, Charles Henderson made first team All-State in Class 5A, and that's quite a chore. You think of all the baseball teams out there, and
yeah, that is a great honor.
Grace Russian made All-State in at Pike Liberal Arts, and Brian Galloway, Mike of Goshen, was named to the team to the 10-player All-State team. So. Goshen.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to have a kid not play at Troy, AUM's probably the next best bet. That's about a 40-minute drive from Troy to AUM's campus, so that'll be good for the Huners to get up there and watch him play.
Yeah, no question about it. And, of course, just follows in the footsteps of a lot of outstanding athletes with Herbie, the granddaddy, and the uncle Stanley, and then, of course, Ricky Huner was a great player, and you just keep mentioning them. Of course, the kid Brock's dad was a great player at Charles Henderson, and later on pitched for Chase Riddle at Troy. And I tell you, the Huner name just keeps moving on.
Yeah, the best baseball player in the Amos family came out to visit me in Grayton yesterday. Christopher Joel Amos and his wife Melissa, and their 2 kids, Brooks and Mary Camden, came out of the house yesterday, and I had a good visit with them.
Well, that's good. I'm tickled that they did that. And of course,
Chris I think loves little babies more than any grown man I've ever seen in my life. He couldn't stop picking them up and playing with them.
Well, you got 2 cute ones, I know that.
But it was fun to see them. Of course, I had a lot of friends text me yesterday about the big press conference at the field, or at the 4th floor for the new athletic director on Wednesday. I guess it's still a big mystery who the AD is going to be.
Yeah, that's right. I've heard a few names out there, and what I like to know is that my guy is still in it, and I'm right off the bat been supporting the guy that's here, Brent Jones, who I think's done a super job since he's been in Troy, and It'd tickle me if they just would just take a very close look at what you got right now, right there in your office, and hopefully that's what they'll do. But they've got some great candidates.
Jeremy McClain left in late March, so they have definitely taken their time as far as this hire. So it's going to be interesting to see who it is.
Yeah, no question. And they're good people. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some great candidates out there. I just say, hey, this guy that you got on board has been there 20 years, in athletics 20 years, and been around, and is a great scheduler. Already he has scheduled some outstanding games for Troy in the near future. We've got, Mike, a great show today. We've got the Troy basketball coach is going to be on our show, and we're looking forward to that. Scott Cross, and we're looking forward to him coming on in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk a little bit about Troy basketball, and again, exciting times for a lot of these young people, and I still can't get over how good this girl is, the pitcher at Long High School of Skipperville, Mike. They just continue to be great in not only girls softball but basketball, and then their baseball teams, boys baseball and football, are also outstanding every year. And I don't know what it is that they're drinking, what kind of water they're drinking, but evidently it's fresher and cleaner than everybody else for some reason.
I'll tell you, this is a very interesting story in college football. Terry Bowden, the former Auburn coach at Sanford. Of course, he was at Akron.
Yeah.
Played him a couple of years ago.
He's a friend of mine.
He has joined the Clemson staff, and you will never believe what he's going to be doing at Clemson. He's going to be a graduate assistant. At 63 years old, he's going to be a graduate assistant, and he's planning on getting his master's at Clemson and working on Dabo Swinney's staff for the next 2 or 3 years.
Oh, boy.
Isn't that amazing?
Let me tell you this, he's a brilliant offensive mind. I don't think anybody will doubt that. And Terry Bowden,
he's pursuing a master's degree in athletic leadership at Clemson.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? They don't have to pay him.
An unpaid graduate internship.
That's right.
That is an amazing story.
That really is. And, of course, he left Akron. And, I thought he did a pretty good job with Akron. He at least made him presentable, didn't you think?
Yeah, he went to the MAC championship game one year. Of course, they had Troy on the ropes. Troy had to come back and complete a fourth down, and Troy barely beat Akron when he came down. And I mean, you got to give the guy credit. I mean, just like it was written yesterday. I mean, the guy only started his career in college football at the Division I level at 20-0.
Yeah, exactly.
He was 20-0 until he tied and then lost to Alabama. Guy can coach. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I want to mention my good buddy Lawson Scarborough was a honorable mention All-State. I tell you, you get even mentioned as an All-State player. It's really some. Chandler Golden, Pike Liberal Arts, was named to the first team All Alabama Independent Schools, and of course Davis Allen, the youngster out of Pike Liberal Arts, was another one that received All-State honors, and he's only a junior. Of course, Katie Warwick, all she did, she played all over the place as far as her position, but her senior season, she hit .422 with 2 home runs and 27 RBIs and scored 25 runs. She also finished with 17 doubles and struck out just 12 times and 109 times at bat. So, again, congratulations to her. And rushing was named to the All-Area Player of the Year in 2009. She hit .419 at Pike Liberal Arts School with 1 home run and 42 RBIs. And listen to this. She had a OPS, that's on base. What is OPS, Mike? .992. Is that on base percentage?
I thought that was your fielding, isn't it?
Well, maybe that is fielding. Let's call it fielding. But her was .992. That's almost perfect.
Interesting hire in high school football in the state. Of course, everybody remembers this name. Andrew Zhao is now the head coach of Bessemer City High School. Of course, that's right outside of Birmingham.
Yeah.
he's left Calera, which, he's had some really good teams at Calera and really good teams at Montevallo. But interesting to leave a growing market like Calera, where he was 9-3 the last 2 seasons, to go take that Bessemer City job. It's their 4th head coach in 4 seasons. So hopefully Andrew's out. Of course, everybody remembers Alabama and Andrew's out.
He's
and Tyler
a fine
Watts,
young man.
Quarterback. And
how about that game against Florida? You remember that?
yeah. So Zal threw for 6,000 yards and 35 touchdowns.
Boy, that was something. You're right.
In 4 seasons at Alabama, so he was a really good player.
But the game I remember so well was the game that he led Alabama to victory against Florida. Do you remember that?
Well, he also came in and led Alabama to a huge upset over Auburn in Auburn when it was Franchone's first year. That was a big game as well.
Yeah.
Also, bad news as far as the Troy former player Antonio Garcia, who's battled health issues throughout his career in the NFL and has never actually played an NFL regular season game. He has now been suspended by the NFL for performance-enhancing substances, so that means he will have to sit out 4 games. He was trying to make the roster for the Colts.
What is he doing? That doesn't sound like him, Mike. Gosh,
well, Antonio Garcia, as a 4-year starter at Troy, and we wish him the best. But yeah, he's going to be starting the NFL season suspended for the first 4 games if he makes a roster. So that's not good news on that front. But who knows what the performance-enhancing issues were or what it was. So, but hopefully he can make it. He's a guy that was a 3rd-round pick only 3 years ago.
Yeah, no question about it. And we hope that all of this is not exactly true. Maybe. I want to mention McGuire Stanley, or Stanley McGuire, the young man out of Goshen. I've got him as being McGuire Stanley was named first-team All-State for in baseball for Goshen, and also Jade Sykes, Mike LeBlanc was another young man that made the All-State team in Alabama Independent School. So well represented. As we mentioned earlier, Lawson Scarborough and Chandler Golden and Holt Steed. How about that? The left-handed pitcher. Mike, I want you to remember that. In fact, right now in high school baseball, if you gave me Holt Steed and gave me my little left-hander, Mike.
What are you talking, the Nelson kid?
Yeah, the Nelson kid. I would think that Pike LeBlanc would have 2 of the best left-handed pitchers in the state of Alabama, bar any classification. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, you think they can go against public schools, huh?
Hey, I'd say Holt Steed, the left-hander from Pike, and the left-hander Nelson for Pike could be 2 left-handers that even Vestavia might want.
Of course, huge news in the NBA last night. The Golden State Warriors survived Game 5 and won 106-105 against the Toronto Raptors. Unfortunately, they lost their best player, Kevin Durant, who had missed the last 9 games, came back and tried to play and scored 11 points, but in the second quarter went down with an Achilles tendon issue. So he tore his Achilles and will be out for a year. And he was going to be a free agent and probably going to sign the biggest contract in NBA history. So you got to give Kevin Durant credit for coming back and trying to help his team while he was injured. And unfortunately, the injury is now severe, and torn Achilles is, one of the worst injuries you can have as a basketball player. I'd be interested to see what Coach Cross would say about that. But, hate that for him. But Golden State will go back to Oakland and play Game 6, and if they win that, they'll head back to Toronto to play a Game 7. So they're down 3-1, now down 3-2. They got a chance to make an unbelievable comeback in these playoff championships.
Yeah, exactly right. I'll tell you something that's happening in Troy tonight. The Tiger Sharks, Troy's swim team, young the Troy Tiger Sharks, and 39 swimmers will hold their only home meet of the season on Tuesday. So if you're interested in watching some outstanding swimmers, head out to the Sportsplex tonight and watch the Tiger Sharks in competition. Want to mention again, the Troy plans to announce their new AD on Wednesday. Troy will announce their new and introduce their new athletic director on Wednesday afternoon in the stadium tower of Veterans Memorial Stadium. The position of director of athletics at Troy had been vacated since former AD Jeremy McClain announced that he was returning to the University of Southern Mississippi to become AD there. Deputy Director of Athletics for Internal Operations and Senior Women's Administrator Sandy Atkins has served as interim AD since this position became open. Troy Athletic Director, Athletic Department made the announcement via Twitter on Monday. The press conference is open to the public on Monday afternoon.
Wednesday.
Well, I know evidently they've got their dates mixed up. The press conference will also be streamed live on Facebook for those that are not in attendance. But you're right, that is a misspell there or wrong place there. That'll be tomorrow afternoon from the Stadium Club right here in Troy. So we look forward to that. And
very interesting on women's softball. The last three Miss Softballs in the state of Alabama, so that's the best player in softball in Alabama, have signed with Troy. That's Libby Baker, Leanna Johnson, and Annie Willis. That's pretty amazing recruiting that you could sign the last three in a row.
Exactly. Now, tell me a little bit about the other. I know about Baker and know about Johnson. Tell me about Willis.
I assume she's the girl that was this year.
Yeah. And now, of course, Baker is
she's
one
the girl from
this year.
GW Long, I assume.
I thought Baker was the one from GW.
I don't know. I'm just going by the list they put on TroyTrojans.com.
I tell you what, she's building quite a program. I tell you what, you get pitchers.
They, unfortunately, got beat 2 straight games in the tournament this year, but definitely had their best team this year.
No question about it. And of course, we've got. Yesterday we had the football camp that was rained out earlier was held yesterday at Veterans Stadium. They had a big group from all over and some good-looking athletes. And I saw a couple of some information. I was wanting to say there was a transfer from Auburn's softball team to Troy's softball team, Mike. So they're building quite a program, and watch it closely.
Yeah, after Auburn lost that great coach, and due to his son's issues off the field, they have not been the same in softball.
No question about it. And of course, we're waiting for Coach Scott Frost. Not Frost, Scott Cross. I want to keep saying that.
Scott Frost is the head coach in Nebraska that Troy beat this past year.
And something I want to make clear, and don't let me forget to talk about Eddie McCarter, former Charles Henderson.
Yeah, that is an interesting story.
Actually coached Scott Cross in college and out in Texas. So that's going to be interesting.
He coached him at UT Arlington.
Yeah, at the UT Arlington, where Coach. Not only did Coach Cross play there, but he coached there for several years, and be getting up to me some information on Coach Cross. It's very impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's I think a home run hire. I've been very impressed from what I'm seeing in the press conference, and then just reading the recruits he signed for the upcoming season. There should be a lot of excitement. We just gotta find a way to get these fans to come to games and support the program. It's one of those things where, hopefully there'll be some excitement and the students will get involved. That's really the biggest thing is getting the students involved. You can get, 1,000 students to come to a game. That's pretty good start right there,
Exactly. Mike, we've got several softball teams that will be getting ready for tournament play, and that'll be coming up as early as Monday afternoon. The Troy Parks and Recreation announced their rosters for the remaining all-star teams, and they've got, after announcing rosters of 10 teams last Monday afternoon, Troy Recreation Department announced the final rosters for the Bells, the 15 and under, Dixie boys and junior Dixie boys teams have been named. The Bells are coached by Scott Reeder, and its assistants are Scott Gilbreth and Matt Leverett. And the players on that team are Madison Allen, Dakota Berry, Emily Bryan, Mackenzie Kane, Rayleigh Carter, Molly Garrett, Stella Gilbreth, Micah Griffin, Sadie Leverett, Bella Malden, Heather Gladwell, and Alicia Sellers, and that is the Dixie Bells, who always seem to be very competitive in softball and tournament play. 15 and under boys is coached by Chris Huner, and his assistant coach is Scott Grissett. Herb Huner and Brock Huner are the coaches. Players include Nate Braston, Adrian Carwell, that's your buddy's son, Mike.
Adrian Carwell's son.
That's right. Case Chiraco, Daniel Cooper, Brady Huner, Jaden Jordan, Skylar Kidd, Noah Presswood, Ben Reeves, Jacob Spivey, Austin Spivey, Jeff Warwick, and J.D. Wilson. And you know who J.D. Wilson is, don't you?
That's Daniel Wilson's son.
Right, Daniel Wilson's son, a young man.
Still really old when I was looking on Facebook the other day, and J.D. Wilson had his driver's license, was driving the car. It's hard to believe Daniel's got a son that old, but I guess I'm getting old.
Yeah, exactly. Again, we want to congratulate McGuire Stanley. Isn't that quite a name? Of Goshen High School was named to the All-State team this week.
Yeah, we need to mention also the kid from high school, the Gandy kid, got drafted in the 32nd round.
That wasn't bad, was it? And
so he'll have a decision to make if he wants to go ahead and go play junior college, or if he wants to go ahead and try to make it in the minor leagues. And
I got a feeling he'll try to make it. He's an outstanding player and a prospect, and they'll make him a player. I promise you.
Well, I mean, that's definitely way down. As far as in the draft, you might want to play junior college ball 1 or 2 years and then see where you are after that.
Yeah.
Mike can get drafted a little higher, so I guess it's up to him and his family, but definitely congratulations. That's always great for any high school kid to be in the Major League Baseball draft. And good news for Troy, nobody was drafted, which is kind of shocking. I thought for sure Drew Frederick, the shortstop, would get drafted, and he did not. So Troy's going to have a lot of really good players coming back next year. And of course, they lose Chase Smart, who was an All-American when it was all said and done at catcher, and had a breakout senior year. And everybody else, I think, is coming back. So should be a really good team.
I hope so. And of course, I think what could have hurt him, Mike, was he struck out a lot. And these guys, they want you to put the bat on the ball,
He struck out a lot, but he still hit, I think, 330.
Yeah, that's right, and he also hit 11 or 12
home runs, which is a lot for college ball now.
Yeah. Dixie boys are coached by David Bradford, and assistant coaches Bobby Templin, Craig Griffin, and Peyton Ebert. The players include K.C. Bradford, Kobe Cantlow, Andrew Galloway, Phoenix Griffin, and let's see, here we continue over here. I think, Damian Hart, Davis Kilcrease, Cade Renfro, Morgan Sanders, Peyton Stamey, Will Templin, and Landon Tyler. The junior Dixie boys are coached by Josh Presswood, and he always does a great job. And his assistant coaches Kevin Adams, Sean Gunner, and Barry Jones. And those guys include Parker Adams, Hayden Adamson, Jackson Cleveland, Benton Dunn, Houston Gunner, Connor Jones, Davis Menifee, Braden Presswood, Bradley Presswood, Keldon Singleton, and Miles Tyler. Representing.
That's a lot of Presswoods. I know Josh Presswood. I didn't know there's that many running around.
And they're all good too, no question about it. The Bells will begin their tournament play at the Sportsplex when they begin their district tournament on June the 21st. The 15 and under boys will play in the state tournament in Eufaula beginning on the 13th, which is this Thursday. So tournament time Mike, it seemed like just the other day they started playing, and now they're in tournament play already.
Well, we talk about it all the time. Football season's about to start. Coming up in August, and a lot of these teams still play it up until August. It's kind of amazing.
No question about it. Still looking.
I tell people all the time, we have a lot of cousins that come down next to our house here in Grayton, and a lot of them are from Fayette, and a lot of them are from Tuscaloosa area, and a lot of these kids play travel ball. So these parents literally are driving all over the southeast, going to games throughout the summer.
You're exactly right.
Hotels, and I mean, I can't imagine how expensive that gets.
No question about it. It's exactly right. And again, it's fun to watch these guys, though. And I know a lot of them play in travel ball, and I am so positive toward rec ball. Troy's got a great rec program, and I'm for these kids playing rec ball. And when that's over, then play the travel ball.
Well, I mean, I guess parents make that decision, and the athlete makes that decision. Yeah, I think you get asked to be on these travel ball teams.
Yeah. Mike, this has got to be the best home football schedule in Troy history. Season ticket packages start at just $60, which is just unreal. I mean, where you can buy a whole season ticket package for what it costs, less than what it costs to go to an SEC football game. The Camels of Camel University starts it off. Don't laugh, because let me tell you, this is a fast, up-and-coming program out of the Carolinas, and they seem like all those teams do pretty well, Mike. Charlotte has done well. They've had 3 or 4 teams to go Division I,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you would expect Troy to come out and win big, but you never know. We're going to have, Caleb Barker coming back off an injury, and, new coaching staff. Got to replace a lot of guys on defense. Unfortunately, 3 of these guys could have come back and played at Troy, but, they decided they wanted to move on somewhere else. And, of course, Watson is now the backup, and, Barker does go down. He looked pretty good, for a few series against Liberty, but that was Liberty's defense, and still a lot of question marks. I'm still hoping Troy will have a chance to win the Sun Belt, and I think they've got a lot of talent coming back, but it's gonna be interesting. First-year coach, there's always 1 or 2 games that unfortunately usually don't go their way, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Just look at this home schedule. They open up.
I'm excited about Southern Miss. I think that's a game I'll definitely try to make. I definitely want to be at that one.
And that's they play Campbell on the 31st of August, and then they've got a
week off, which I'm not a fan of at all. But I guess maybe Coach Lindsey would be. I don't know.
I think if you're going to do it, I think that's a good time to do it. To work on the things that you feel like you need to work on prior to going up against a real good team in Southern Miss.
I'm sure Coach Brown wanted a week off after Boise beat us 56-20 last year.
Yeah. And I've got a feeling that this could be a sellout. It's going to be against Southern Mississippi on the 14th.
You'd have to think Southern Miss will bring 5,000 people, I would think.
I would think so, too. And then September the 28th, they've got the Red Wolves of Arkansas State coming to town. That's going to be that's an early game. That's going to be a very important game, Mike.
I would say Arkansas State has underachieved the last 2 years. They've had really good teams, a really good quarterback, but couldn't find a way to win their division last year. And Lafayette ended up getting in it, and Lafayette first year they finished 7-7 because they lost the bowl game as well. But Billy Napier, the former Alabama assistant, did really good at Lafayette last year.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back in just a moment with more of Today in L.A.
This is Bobby Flay.
I'm coming for you, Bobby.
They say he's never had to eat his words. But if he did, they'd be delicious. They say the word flavor was named after him. They say he can make an omelet without breaking an egg.
We were hoping for that.
They say you can beat Bobby Flay. What do they know? Beat Bobby Flay, Thursday night at 10 on Food Network.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Are you a driver trainee just finished in school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the kennel for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Dabo and did all their facilities up there.
Back to our show, and ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by our wonderful friends at A1 Services, Terry Moats, and if you've got air conditioning problems, call him today at 566-4220. Want to mention also Bird Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy, one of the great drug stores in the country, and they've started cooking breakfast around 7 o'clock, and they're, I tell you what, all of the downtown square smells like that delicious bacon, Mike.
Yeah, you know, the people at Bird's Drugs probably over the years probably think you have about 20 kids because there's been a lot of people going there and charge on you over the years. They need to make sure you only have 3. You might need to tell them.
I know it. But, again, we were looking at Troy's home schedule. It starts with Campbell, and Campbell's going to be a competitive team you watch. Then they've got a week off. Then they play Southern Miss at home. Then Arkansas State comes to town after going on the road to
Let's go ahead and do the records, man. It's that time of year. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to go 12-0?
I tell you, I don't feel quite as good about them as I did maybe this spring before the spring started. With all these guys that have quit the team, it's pretty hard to figure.
Yeah, I know. I talked to a buddy, and I said the same thing. You know, I'm struggling. I think we're going to have to win a lot of shootouts because we've lost so many guys on defense. I mean, Trayvon Sanders, Hunter Reese, you know, a couple other really good defensive players. Rucker, we left, you know, Shadarius Rucker, great player. And, you know, then you lose 3 more starters to transfer. So, you know, you hope you got guys coming in to fill those spots. But I looked at it the other day. I've got them going 8-4.
Yeah. I tell you, if you can get by these teams at home, you've got a shot. And, of course, they are playing at home. And I feel like Troy's got a home field advantage, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, that's definitely one thing Coach Brown and his staff did when they were here. I mean, well, actually, they did a lot of great things. I mean, you know, one of the greatest, you know, coaching, I guess, you know, records ever to be at Troy, especially in Division I. But they really got the students involved. You know, I heard stories that Coach Brown would be on campus handing out T-shirts to, you know, kids and different students and stuff like that, and they're really great in the community. And I think that's one thing that they've done a great job of, you know, when season ticket holders buy their tickets, they actually send players over there to thank them, don't they?
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. They come to every season tickets home, and they'll have pictures made with them and that type thing. I think it's been a very good idea, no question.
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way today. 81 days, 9 hours, 23 minutes, and 39 seconds.
81 days.
9 hours.
9 hours.
23 minutes.
23
and now
minutes.
31 seconds until
now
kickoff.
31 seconds before kickoff of Troy or college football?
No, Troy.
Troy football.
Troy
game
against
with
Campbell.
Yeah, no question about it. But of course, after Southern Miss, then you've got to go to Akron. They better be careful going to Akron. It could be sort of the same scenario they run into at Liberty last year.
Yeah, I mean Akron. That's going to be a interesting trip. You know, new coaching staff at Akron. You know, maybe some excitement with the program. I would not think too many Troy fans will be able to make that trip. That's a long ways away. So that's going to be an interesting game. Arkansas State at home early is going to be an interesting game as well. We're used to playing Arkansas State, which is, I'd have to say, this is the earliest we've ever played Arkansas State.
Right.
Usually that's the last game of the season.
And they're probably the most physical team. Don't you agree they're the most physical team we play every year?
They're the closest team, I'd say, physical-wise, to like a small SEC school.
Yeah,
they always have big, strong, athletic guys. And, of course, you know, they've had incredible coaching over the last 10 years as well.
They really have. No
Blake
question.
Anderson has decided to stay there and has done a really good job as well. But, you know, they must get a lot of guys out of the Mississippi junior colleges, I would think, being right there in Jonesboro. That's really close.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, you know, they've enlarged their stadium. You're right. I think if you look at the total program, they would have to be the one that, well, of course, you know, Appalachian State and Georgia Southern have added a lot to it. But year in, year out, Arkansas State's probably as good as they've been in the Sun Belt.
We had I was looking across the street. We have a really beautiful rental home next to us, and a lot of people rent it for beach trips. And the other day, we had 3 cars pull in from North Carolina, and every single one of them had Appalachian State stickers on the back. So I walk over there and ask how their team's going to be.
Oh, yeah, you need to. No question about it. Okay,
That's a long trip from Boone, North Carolina to Grayton Beach.
No question. I tell you what, if they can get by Arkansas State here and Southern Miss, they could be, those are going to be 2 tough ones right there. Then they've got South Alabama coming to town, and boy, that's never an easy win there. They're going to play on a Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. What do you think?
Well, I mean, last time they came into town, I mean, that was one of the more heartbreaking losses you could possibly have, considering Troy had just beat LSU and all the excitement. And then, of course, South Alabama comes into town, and Troy couldn't kick a field goal to save their lives, and ended up getting beat. Of course, Troy returned the favor last year with Steve Campbell, and of course, Steve Campbell and Haystack Stewart and Kenny Edenfield are guys we know really well, and they've had so many players leave that program since they've gotten there, probably close to 22, I read the other day.
So Troy shouldn't feel bad. Troy shouldn't feel bad at all losing 4 then. Is that right?
Well, I mean, they're just totally rebuilding that program and getting guys in that believe in what they're doing, and when it's all said and done, I think Coach Campbell's a really good coach. I know he's got good assistants, so I don't think they're going to beat Troy this year, but I think in the next few years they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, if they'll have patience with them, and I don't know, South Alabama might not have the patience to hold them.
The biggest issue is that new football stadium's going to be open 20 and 20, and if you go 3-9 or have another losing record going into that new stadium, it's going to be tough on them to keep them.
Let me ask this: how many people will that new stadium hold? 40,000?
No, it's going to be extremely small, only 25,000.
Oh, really? That surprises me. You would think they'd have more than that.
Yeah, you know, I thought there was a rule in Division I athletics where you had to have a 30,000 seat stadium minimum, but apparently that's not the case.
I would have thought it would be bigger than that.
Coastal Carolina doesn't have that as well. I think they're like around 20 to 25.
I'll tell you something that this is going to do, and we talk about this a lot over the years. If there was any team in the market to leave the Sun Belt, I would think it would be South Alabama with that big TV market in Mobile.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've always said that as well.
And if they get that stadium, that home stadium, it would enhance their chances.
There's no doubt they're getting it. It's already a done deal. They've already started working on it.
But you know, and the only
it's an on-campus facility, and I mean, don't get me wrong. I like old stadiums. I like Ladd Stadium, but you know, Ladd Stadium's in the same situation. You know, Legion Field is. It's in a really poor neighborhood, and it's outdated, and you know, it served its purpose, and I'm sure it will continue to serve a purpose for high school games. But you know,
the Senior Bowl.
They need a new facility, no doubt.
The Senior Bowl, I wonder if they
I would
would.
be surprised the Senior Bowl moves to the new stadium as well.
Yeah, no question. But of course, also South Alabama is really growing fast. There's close to 20,000 students there now.
Yeah, I mean, you got a great medical school. I mean, it's a great university.
Yeah. Okay, if we can get by those guys on the 16th, Georgia State on the 16th, then we've got Georgia Southern, and it's just something about Georgia Southern that scares me. I don't know. I reckon it's that option. Do you remember the game last year?
I will say that Troy's beat them 2 years in a row, so that's a good start for Troy. Troy's struggled for many years.
I know it. Do you remember watching the game last year? They came out in that in the option stuff and started reading it and running some misdirection off the option, and they scared me to death. And they went down the field like they owned us, scored and whatever, and never went back to that offense again. I could not understand it. The misdirection offense. Troy's a type defense that really runs to the football, and what they were doing a bunch of misdirection stuff, throwbacks and stuff, and they would just look like they were taking candy from a baby, and they stopped doing it. I don't know why. Thank goodness that we won the ball game. Wirtz, their quarterback, is a great athlete.
Yeah, he's going to be a junior next year. Shy Wirtz will be back.
And of course anytime.
Of course, they won the Montgomery Bowl game in the last seconds as well. So they won 10 games last year.
They sure did, and the coach kept his job. They were going to fire him until he had that great year. You know that?
You talking about the coach?
Yeah, they were going. I think.
He was an interim coach that took over for Tyson Summers, who got fired.
That's right.
They ended up winning the last 3 games. I think that season they kept him, and ends up going 10-3 and having a great season.
Yeah. One big thing on Troy's schedule is after they play South Alabama on a Wednesday, they've got a road trip. Where they going to, they got Missouri on the schedule. I'm not looking at the schedule right now, but we were just looking at the home games. But on November the 9th, Georgia Southern comes to Troy, which is a big advantage. And then on the 29th, a huge game when the Mountaineers of Appalachian State come to Troy. This is the best, probably, ticket opportunity as far as seeing premium. I'm talking about quality football in Troy, Alabama. This is probably one of the best schedules I've ever seen. We should have a record sales at the box office for this season. Buy your tickets now. This is going to be a great year for football.
Yeah, I mean, other than road trips to Akron, of course, you don't want to go to Akron. Probably that wouldn't be a whole lot to do. But you could go to Myrtle Beach and see them play Coastal, and then you could go to Atlanta and see them play Georgia State. Those are 2 wonderful trips as a fan.
Exactly, and we'll definitely be going to Atlanta. That Coastal's still a pretty long ways, Mike. And also we play Missouri in Columbia.
In Columbia, and we've made that trip before, and it's an easy drive from St. Louis, so you can easily do that. And
I thought we'd have a shot at Missouri, and I still think we do, but their quarterback that they got now is going to be really tough. They got a new quarterback that's transferred in there from Clemson. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's played him several times. Kelly Bryant, Auburn played him. He beat Auburn. Real athletic runner, still struggles as a passer. Kind of similar to Jalen Hurts. I'd say Jalen Hurts was overall better player. But going to be interesting. Derek Dooley's his offense coordinator. Drew Lock graduated, was a second-round pick in the NFL draft. And Missouri's, been pretty good. So we'll see. I think that's definitely a game if Troy starts off well, that they can definitely go in there and win, though.
Troy
can beat LSU at LSU and beat Nebraska, even though Nebraska was down when they played them last year. There's no doubt they won't feel any intimidation going to Columbia and playing Missouri.
Yeah, I think people can see Nebraska coming back up in a hurry.
I think Nebraska's going to be really good under Scott Frost. He's a really good coach.
Yeah, in a hurry. I think they're going to be good in a hurry. Also, I would think, Mike, I'm going to hit you with this trivia question. Clemson has had several people to leave and go to play elsewhere. Where is another former outstanding Clemson quarterback playing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Well, there's the kid left to go play 1AA at Jacksonville State.
That's right. That's what I was going to say. He has given Jacksonville State another chance to possibly win a Division I AA championship.
Yeah, I mean, Jacksonville State had that team that played in the championship game, I guess, 3 or 4 years ago and got blown out. But they've just dominated a very weak Ohio Valley Conference.
I mean, it is a laugher.
I mean, back in the day, Murray State had a really good football program. I don't know what happened.
I don't
Houston
think
Nutt was there. They were really good. And
you remember? Yes, right. Houston Nutt coached there.
Some of those other teams were good as well. But Eastern Kentucky has really fallen off in that league, and they were really good for a long time under Roy Kidd.
You're exactly right. No question about it.
Troy had some great games. I mean, we'll never forget the night the kid from Luverne, Aaron Gregory, ran that kickoff back to win that game late.
I forgot about that.
That was one of the more electric environments for a 1AA game I'd ever been to. That was a sellout crowd, and I'll never forget we went in the locker room and celebrated with the team after the game. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Stan Davis was that quarterback.
Yeah, of course he came out of Albany, Georgia, and was a great quarterback for us back then. No question about it.
Yeah, I mean that was a really fun trip. I remember that one. I mean, I was talking to Chris about the other day, just some old games growing up going to games and stuff, and you just experience college football in different atmospheres. That's what's so much fun about college football is, every university has their own traditions and does things different ways.
Yeah, no question about it. And I was looking at Jacksonville's schedule, and the teams they had to beat in conference are Austin Peay, Tennessee State, Eastern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, Murray State, UT Martin, Tennessee Tech, and Eastern Kentucky. I sure would love. I'm glad we're playing Division I football, but if we were playing
Austin Peay will be a lot better though. They got the former Louisiana Lafayette, North Alabama coach. He'll do a really good job at Austin Peay.
Is that where he is now?
Yeah, he left Mississippi State and is coaching now, the head coach at Austin Peay.
Yeah, and what was his name?
I'm drawing a blank. Hepworth, maybe?
Yeah, that's right. Hespeth.
Hespeth, yeah, that's right. Mark Hespeth, that's right.
With that Sanford, too, didn't he coach at Sanford at one time?
He's a big UNA guy. I know he coached at UNA.
So the reason I was saying that about, and then
he had great teams at Lafayette, but he put them on probation. He had 4 straight 9-win seasons at Lafayette. And, he was a big, I don't know if you ever saw him, but he was a big workout guy. And they would show him before the game, bench pressing 400 pounds before his players and stuff. Which is crazy.
Exactly, yeah. I was there I was looking at Jacksonville playing in that conference. So they were bragging about that they had won something like 35 straight conference games. Well, I was looking at their schedule. I can understand why. But the North Alabama is.
They got the shock of all shocks when North Carolina A&T came and beat them in Montgomery to start the season last year.
That's right. And you know who that game is going to be this year?
I hadn't seen.
It's going to be Sanford against. Sanford is playing. Oh boy. I want to say some team from up north. But I know Sanford is going to be one of those teams in that initial first game of the year telecast of a 1AA team. Sanford and oh boy, can't remember. But that's going to open up the football season, and
Sanford's lost their great quarterback Dylan Hodges. He broke all the records in 1AA. He's graduated. So
is that the kid? Now, whatever happened to the kid, Mike, that was such a great high school player that Sanford signed out of
Leeds, the Marshall kid?
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He left Sanford last year and sat out at UAB, so he'll be now playing for UAB.
Okay, he's a player too. Now, do they leave him at quarterback, or where is he playing?
No, he plays wide receiver. He had a really good good year, I think his freshman year at Whiteout, and decided, I guess, he wanted to go to a higher level.
Yeah.
And now at UAB with Coach Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, Samford University gets a real highlight of their football program. They're the first team to play in the college football season starting on the 24th of August. They play Youngstown State at Crampton Bowl.
Man, your favorite coach, Bo Pelini.
Pelini. You're right. I don't know why I didn't like Pelini. He's never done anything to me, but just his mannerisms I didn't like. But now, Samford playing Youngstown State, first game of the year. Johnny Williams is putting this game on, Mike. It's again, Samford against Youngstown State, and the Samford people are not coming out in waves like Jacksonville State did last year. Jacksonville State played in this inaugural first game of the season under by ESPN. Of course, it's sponsored by ESPN. But Samford is not buying the tickets like Jacksonville, and I can understand that, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that the city of Montgomery will come out, and then Youngstown will probably bring a lot of fans.
Yeah, and of course Youngstown.
Of course, the great coach Jim Tressel at Youngstown State won 4 national championships, and
that's right. He's
their school president, isn't he?
He's the president of Youngstown State, and a great guy. You know, I visited with him.
He had a really bad thing happen. He had his players getting free tattoos at Ohio State. And that's what lost his job.
Can you believe that a guy
going out and getting tattoos for free? Apparently, several guys getting tattoos for free, and that really tarnished one of the better careers in college football.
Oh yeah, and he's a great guy. I visited with him with Johnny Williams before. Johnny Williams and Coach were real good friends, and I went through that Ohio State program, and their facilities were just next to none under Tressel. And then, of course, it turns out maybe the best thing ever happened to get rid of Tressel, because they brought in, your guy from Florida.
Are you talking about Urban Meyer?
Urban Meyer, your vacuum cleaner salesman, Urban Meyer. Doesn't that sound like a vacuum cleaner name there, Urban Meyer?
Well, we got to like Urban Meyer. He's Corey Dennis's father-in-law, and we like Corey.
Looks like we've been stood up, Mike. The basketball coach has not come in.
I'm sure he's extremely busy and got a lot on his plate.
I know it. I should have.
I'm sure he will gladly come on the show whenever he gets a chance.
Exactly, and he's a great guy. We're talking about Scott, and of course Scott Cross.
He makes everybody take the stairs. So I don't know if you could hang out with him too much.
Hey, I wouldn't. I would take the elevator. But again, we're proud that he's in town. And
I tell you, he's a guy that I think the players will definitely respect. I don't think he's a guy that is going to take anything. I think he's going to be a motivator, and those guys are going to play hard for him. And that's one thing I think that, out of watching Troy these last couple of years, is the effort on defense, which is so poor. Troy had some scores, but all defense is effort. And Troy, I think, gave up 82.5 points a game in conference play last year, and you can't beat anybody if you're going to give up that many points.
And like you said,
isn't it unbelievable they gave up that many points a game?
I tell you something else about them, and again, I love the coach, great friend.
I did too. I thought he was great.
I love the staff. Great guys. They're one of them.
Yeah, tough situation. First time as a head coach, and you're at a Division I program, and you're taking over from a legend, 2 legends. I always want people to remember Don Maestri, but I always want people to remember David Felix as well.
Oh yeah.
2 legendary coaches. And
do you know something about David? Of course.
And a new arena. It was a tough go, to say the least.
Yeah. And not only was David a good coach, he's a great player too. He could shoot lights out, and
she's a great recruiter too. For them to get the amount of quality players they got over the years to come to Little Sartain Hall in Troy, Alabama was amazing to me.
Oh, David always held on to that Indiana voice. He still always had that little bit of a Yankee accent. that it was able to he was able to recruit a lot of players up north because of it. I thought he had that. Of course, he was a great high school and college player, and along with another guy that you know pretty well, Mike. They were a tandem, two of the best shooters to ever play on the same team.
You're talking about Carl Hollis.
Carl Hollis, the preacher, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Hollis, who coached at Charles Henderson for all those years, and David Felix made up two of the best shooters in Troy history. And boy, was Carl a great player. And before him,
of course, that had to make Coach David Felix, extremely happy when Carl coached Drew at Charles Henderson when they made the Final Four in basketball.
Sure did. You're exactly right. And of course, Drew was a great player too. But what tickles me about Carl before him, he had a brother that was a great player at Troy. So
what was his name? Cleve.
You're right. Out of Headland, Alabama. That's where they came from. And I'll tell you something else about Carl Hollis, Mike. Not only was he a great coach, he is a great Christian man who has done so much for our community over the years. You know, the things that he has done for our community. And great man, no question about it. Deserves to be in the Troy Sports Hall of Fame. Deserves to be in the Troy Sports Hall of Fame as much as anybody I know.
You know, he'd be an interesting guy. I want to say he coached as an assistant under McCarter for a long time as well.
You know, I don't know, but
I can't remember if he was under McCarter or he was under Griffin. But I know Coach Hollis was there when I was in high school.
And that's another man that is gone today. That was
20 years.
Mike Griffin was one of the finest men to ever coach at Charles Henderson.
No doubt, one of my favorite people I experienced in high school was Calvin Griffin. Just a super guy. I mean, one of the most friendliest guys and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I had many great conversations with him. He was one of my favorites, no doubt.
Well, I tell you something about him, and he was a good guy, you know, good coach too. He came from Goshen, had a great career at Goshen prior to coming to Charles Henderson, and everybody loved him. And of course, you know, he became ill and was in a wheelchair for most of his adult life at the end. But what a great man. And he, along with our guy from Goshen, Alabama, Mike, who just went into the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame.
You talking about Major Lane?
Major Lane. You give me Major Lane, you give me Carl Hollis, and you give me my guy we just got through talking about. Calvin Griffin. And those three are the finest men that have ever taught school and dealt with our kids. We've been so fortunate to have those. And we've got one that's a principal at Pike County High School, another great one coming up, Mike.
Yeah, Willie Wright.
Willie Wright is another outstanding teacher and outstanding role model. These were all great role models for these kids in Pike County to grow up around. And I know they had an effect on your life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, that's one of those things, I always remember all the coaches and teachers that, you know, that were big influences on me growing up. And, of course, you know, it's one of those things, you know, unfortunately, you know, when you go back, you know, a lot of them are gone now, but you definitely remember them, you know, and what they meant to your life.
You know, and Major Lang sort of got to be known.
I just knew him from the recreation department growing up.
That's what I'm saying. He was such a great recreation leader and all the kids just, you know, just loved him. You know, and then of course he started coaching, and the rest is history. You know.
Well, I mean, I think he was probably coaching the whole time he was working in the rec department.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he was. And, of course, he started off in Brundage, Mike. He was at Pike County High School, then went to Goshen. And that's where his career went. And, of course, he's welcome to come on this show anytime. I tell you, if you're riding down the road, come join us. We'd love to have you. Of course, our show is brought to you by Trojan Auto Parts on South Brundage Street. Mike Kilcrease, one of my good friends, and one of the cleanest automobile parts places you'll find anywhere. If you got problems with your battery, you got problems with your windshield wipers, they'll replace them for you right there. It makes it so convenient. So especially if you got windshield wiper blades that are bothering you right now, just pull in and say, I want some windshield wiper blades, and they'll put it in for you right then. And the same way with batteries. If you got a bad battery, jump it off and get it to his shop, and they'll replace that battery for you absolutely free. Of course, you have to pay the cost of the battery, but it's great. I want to mention our good friends at All-Star Collision, and want to say hello to those folks. And boy, they are really, really good. They have a lot of pride in their work, and they're really outstanding. I want to also mention Max Credit Union, and of course the guy that runs it, one of my good friends, and I'll always appreciate the work he does. And of course, Will Matthews at the Matthews Law Firm. You're looking for a great lawyer, the Matthews Law Firm in Ozark.
He predicted the PGA champion, and he predicted that Tiger Woods would not make the cuts. So I'm going to be interested to talk to Will this week and see what he predicts.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, that big tournament starts.
Can't wait for Pebble Beach and the U.S. Open, man. I tell you what, a guy that loves golf. I don't play golf, but I love it for some reason more than most sports. And I absolutely cannot wait to watch that. That's one of the more beautiful scenes you can ever see in any sport, is watching Pebble Beach in a major championship.
I remember when it used to come on early. They would have the what was it? One of Bing Crosby would have his tournament right after the New Year, and it'd be cold and windy. Well, out there it is cold weather right now.
There's no doubt they'll be in the 50s in the morning.
Oh yeah, they'll be wearing sweaters and jackets and everything. And that wind, the wind, just you don't know what you got to face. From morning to afternoon, whatever.
I mean, it's a bucket list if you're a golf fan. There's no doubt about it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. Of course, a lot of people talking about Mickelson, of course, because he's 49 and never won the U.S. Open. Finished second, tied, I think second. Yeah, 6 times he's finished second in the U.S. Open. So, of course, everybody's talking about Tiger and him playing, well again. So it's gonna be, really, really fun to watch. Of course, Koepka's just on fire. He's won 4 out of the last 8 majors. So, it's one of those where the rough's going to be just extremely thick and hard to hit out of. And I was watching the Golf Channel yesterday. They think 1 under is going to win it. So that tells you how tough this is going to be.
I don't know why they always do this for the U.S. Open, but the rough will be almost. I mean, you hit it rough, that's just a stroke.
It's bogey, yeah. That's no doubt.
A lot of times they can't even find the darn ball. Can you believe that? I mean, why do they do that? I mean, because to me.
Well, I think it's like the one time they can basically make it extremely hard, and a lot of people love to watch these guys struggle. So it's kind of one of those things where, it's kind of one of those where, as a fan, I kind of enjoy something different, and not everybody going 22, 25 under.
Yeah, no question about it. Of course, we're looking at the last 10 years, U.S. Open. Copia, Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Martin Kamer, Justin Rose, Will.
I will say Spieth. Now Spieth's playing really well right now. He hadn't won in 2 years, but he's starting to play well. So definitely remember that name as well.
And for McIlroy, ladies and gentlemen, to finish the tournament Sunday with a 61, that's one of the greatest achievements, I think, maybe in golf history.
Well, what's crazy, he shot 61 and he bogeyed the last hole, so he easily had 60 if he just pars.
Now, everybody looked for him to dominate. Well, that's what I call dominate.
Earlier in that tournament, though, Brant Snedeker out of Nashville played at Vandy. He shot 60.
Did he shot 60?
Yep.
In that tournament?
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, that's something.
I think he finished 4th.
I've got all the magazines now. I've got 3 of them. I've got.
When is the big boy coming out? Phil Steele.
The big boy is not out yet. I'll tell you, Athlon put out a big, thick one this year, so they're a lot more. Statistically, they got a lot more information. But again, you can drop by your favorite magazine stand and pick up some good reading. And Troy. Mike was number 75 nationally. That's pretty good. 73. That was their preseason.
Yeah, everything I've seen, they've been in the top 80, which is good.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's do it then, Mike. Let's go over it one more time then. All right, they open up on the 31st against Campbell. I give Troy a win. Then they're gonna have the week off.
If they don't win, that's going to be one of the worst possible starts Coach Lindsey ever could imagine.
But let me tell you this, though. This is not a terrible team. I think this is an up-and-coming program, but we better be careful. They got some players. Of course, we got the week off following that game, and then we'll have the big game with Southern Miss. They're going to be good. Southern Miss is going to be good.
Went to Auburn last year, and I think got beat by 8. Played Auburn really tough. Of course, there was a lot of weather delays in that game, and I think it took 5 hours to finish. But they've been struggling the last couple years under Jay Hobson, and I know this is a big year for him.
What was his background, Mike? How did he get that job?
Weird situation. He was at Ole Miss, and ended up leaving there and was the head coach of Alcorn State, of all places.
Oh, yeah.
And turned Alcorn State into, just an offensive juggernaut and scored tons of points and ended up getting the Southern Miss job out of Alcorn. But I want to say he's a former Southern Miss player.
Yeah.
He had some kind of connections to that job.
Well, that one right there is going to be a big one, but I'm gonna say Troy's going to beat him at home.
Yeah, I'm going to say that as well.
Yeah. And and then of course you go on the road to Akron, and they better be careful there. But I'll say that's another W. So I've got them starting at 3-0.
I mean that's a huge trap game at Akron, but I just don't think Akron's got the players to play with Troy right now.
Hopefully we've got a quarterback that's ready to play. Hopefully he's going to be over his knee injury.
I tell you, Hobson's record is pretty good, though. At Alcorn State, he was the head coach in 2012. They went 4-7, and then in 2013 they went 9-3. 2014 they went 10-3. 2015 they went 9-4.
Oh boy!
And then so we went 32-17 at Alcorn, but he's got a winning record at Southern Miss. Southern Miss went 7-6 his first year in 2016. They won the New Orleans Bowl. 2017 they went 8-5, 6-2 in the conference, lost the Independence Bowl, and then in 2018 he went 6-5.
You're right.
I don't know why they didn't play 12 games, but he went 6-5 and didn't go to a bowl game. But he's 21-16. He's got 3 straight winning seasons, so he's not a bad coach at all. No
question. That's going to be a great game right there, that Southern Miss game. Then of course, like we say, go on the road to Akron. We should win and get that game. On September 28th, Arkansas State comes to town. Now, they scare me to death. They're good every year, and they play Troy good every year. That's going to be a big one right there. That's going to be a physical game. Will Troy be tough enough physically to win that game? I don't know. What do you feel? What's your feeling on that?
Well, I mean, I think if they could beat Southern Miss, they could beat Arkansas State. So I'm going to have them beating Arkansas State.
All right, so you got them going 4-0, and I got them going 4-0. I'm going to say they'll beat Arkansas State. Then they go on the road to Missouri, and I'm predicting I don't know how to look at it, but if this new quarterback had not moved in from Clemson, that is one of the top quarterbacks in the country, I would have taken Troy easily in this game. But they're playing at Missouri. I'm going to say Troy is going to have a hard time winning that game. I'm going to take Missouri to win that game.
Yeah, I'll take Missouri to win that game too.
Okay, now then we come back, and on the 16th, I want to say this is the 16th, and play a always tough South Alabama team. I think this year Troy matches up pretty well with them. I'm going to take Troy to win that game.
Yeah, I'm going to take them against South Alabama.
All right. Then they come back, Mike, and go on the road to Georgia State. Is that right?
Yeah, a big trip to Georgia State. Of course, they've got a new coach there.
And they're going to be better. Don't you think they're going to be better?
I mean, this is going to be a really tough game. I wouldn't be shocked if Troy got beat by Georgia State because it's a tough place to play. Won't be a whole lot of fans there. I guess I'm going to have Troy winning that game, but I think that's going to be a tough one.
I'm going to take Troy here. Okay. And of course, homecoming, Mike.
Well, no, then they go to Coastal Carolina after that.
Coastal Carolina. That's going to be a tough one up there.
Yeah, they got a new coach, Jamie Caldwell. He was their offense coordinator, is taking over for the billionaire. And
was he on their staff before and everything?
Yeah, he was their offense coordinator.
That's going to be a tough game on the road
there. That's a game I'm iffy on, but I mean, I feel like Troy's going to win. I think Troy's either going to lose to Georgia Southern or lose to Coastal. I really think one of those games they're going to slip up. I don't know. I'm going to hold off on it though. I'm going to take them against Coastal.
This is really something. It's turning out that I like Troy a lot better than I thought, Mike. They could be something special. You know, I mean,
we got them only losing to Missouri so far.
Yeah, I know it, and that's what I'm wondering about is how they're going to play against these two teams right down the stretch. And of course, the Georgia Southern and the Appalachian State game could be for the right to play for the conference championship.
Yeah, I've got Troy beating Georgia Southern. I think it's homecoming. I think it'll be a huge crowd. I think it'll be a great game. But I've got them beating Georgia Southern, and then I've got them definitely beating Texas State. They got a new coach, but of course they gave Troy all they wanted last year. I think Troy barely won 12-7.
Yeah. And I tell you, somebody we better be real.
The game I got Troy losing. I got them losing on the road to Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette's awfully tough.
Napier is really building a good program down there, and I've also got them losing at home to Appalachian State. So I've got Troy going 9-3, which is very respectable in Coach Lindsey's first year. But I don't think if they can run the gauntlet and beat Southern Miss, Arkansas State, South Alabama, Georgia Southern, and Appalachian State, if they win all those home games and Campbell, I mean, that would be an unbelievable accomplishment. But I think they're going to slip up against one of those teams at home.
Well, I've got
that's just extremely tough.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is an extremely tough schedule, even though we play them at
home. But I mean, I think somebody will probably come in here and beat Troy at home.
I'll tell you right now, Texas State is going to be a lot better than people think.
They got tons of athletes. There's no doubt about that.
They're a big school too. You know, I think they've got 35,000 students on campus. Yeah, it's a huge school, and
yeah, I mean, when you think about what Troy's got on campus enrollment compared to all these other schools, it's just unbelievable. I mean, Troy's actually 8,000 now, which is more than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But, I mean, everybody else is double digits for sure.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to put a star by the Arkansas State game, the Missouri game,
I tell you what, I'd love to maybe make that.
I'm like you. That Louisiana Lafayette game scares me to death there.
Yeah, I'd love to make that trip and maybe go to New Orleans.
Yeah. But, you know, if we went back, and, of course, I've got them going 9-3 or 10-2. Hopefully they can go 10-2.
Well, I mean, you got them beating Appalachian State at home at the end?
That's the tough one. That's the one I picked them to lose. And that was
you got them 10-2. I got them 9-3.
Yeah. But as we look at it, the way I like to do is go down the line and say, can we beat them or can they beat us? Campbell.
There's a lot of
Campbell. We should beat Campbell. Southern Miss could go either way. Akron. We should beat Akron. Arkansas State is another one that they could easily win the game. Missouri could easily win the game. South Alabama, just looking at history, they could win the game. Georgia State on the road in the old baseball field, they could win the game. Coastal Carolina at Coastal
Georgia
Carolina.
State ever beat Troy there?
No, I don't believe they have. Georgia Southern at home. Anytime you play Georgia Southern, you could lose the game. Same way at Coastal Carolina. Troy could lose the game at Coastal Carolina. Texas State
a lot of people don't realize, UAB had that unbelievable season last year, and Coastal Carolina beat them by 21 points.
Yeah. And Texas State is going to be better. Let me just tell you this. The only team that I don't think has a chance to beat Troy is Campbell. the rest of them have a chance to beat Troy. And Troy has a great chance to beat them. This makes it one of the toughest schedules, Mike, that I can ever remember Troy playing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you can almost put Akron in on that, but coming off Southern Miss and then having to make that long trip to Akron, Ohio, yeah, that could still be a tough game for Troy. But, yeah, I agree with that.
And of course,
to be honest, Troy could easily start the season going into Missouri 2-2. They could lose to Southern Miss, lose to Arkansas State, and
exactly.
going into Missouri 2-2. So I think they'll go 4-0. But
let me tell you this. You take Troy, you take Appalachian State, you take Georgia Southern, you take Arkansas State, and I'll throw in Louisiana, especially at home. And those guys can play with most anybody. I mean, what I'm saying, those are strong, strong teams. And then, of course, Southern Miss, same way, very good program. But just looking at this conference, man, it has gotten better and better. And, we don't play Louisiana Monroe, thank goodness, because they're hard for Troy to beat, if you look at it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody realizes how huge that was when they got up on Monroe last year, 28-0.
Yeah, it looked like they
held on and won 35-28.
And very fortunate.
But that was one of the more crazier experiences ever to dominate like they did. Of course, that just proved to you then what a phenomenal player Barker could be. A lot of it comes down to the quarterback too. Will Barker stay healthy?
Yeah, that's right. That's the key. Of course, B.J. Smith is back, 1,000-yard rusher.
B.J. Smith, the Fry's back. It looks like Strong will not get the waiver, the kid that transferred in from A&M, so that would have helped Troy a lot. Troy's loaded at wide receiver.
Yeah. Well, looking at the way they look at it, the East Division, they've got Appalachian State winning the Eastern Division. Troy's in second, then followed by Georgia Southern, and then Georgia State, and that's in the East Division.
It is amazing. How in the world do these kids end up going to the mountains of Boone, North Carolina?
I know.
How do they get so many good players?
The West Virginia, and they're projected to go to the Dollar General Bowl, is Louisiana. They've got Appalachian State projected to go to New Orleans Bowl, and Troy to go to the Camellia Bowl in Montgomery. Of course, that's another great thing about.
Johnny Williams is one of our dearest friends, and that Camellia Bowl has been a great game. It goes down the wire every year, but I I would much rather be in Mobile and New Orleans. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. And you know what? And I wouldn't mind going to Disney World either.
Yeah, the Cure Bowl in Disney wouldn't be bad. Now, I don't want to do what Arkansas State did and go play out in Arizona.
Yeah, I know it.
One trip I don't want to make.
Yeah. These 5 bowl games, and I'm thinking it's going to be tough, but the whole
key. Will the Myrtle Beach Bowl be official next year?
What now?
Will the Myrtle Beach Bowl be official next year?
It's got
that wouldn't be a bad bowl game either.
No, but it is going to be another bowl game. That would give Troy.
That's the new bowl game out of the Sun Belt, the Myrtle Beach.
And that will happen next year. And that would give Troy 6 bowl tie-ins. Every year they could go to a bowl game. If you'll think about it, other than playing for the national championship, a bowl game is the reward for all the teams, to go to a bowl game.
I feel bad for La Monroe. They had a 6-6 season, and we're battling, the whole season to win the West, and didn't even get to go to a bowl. So
yeah.
If their quarterback's back, I don't know if he's back or not, but if he's back, they're going to be pretty good.
He's back, and you're Zachariah's name's
that Evans kid, he's really good.
A lot of them think he's one of the best out there. Everybody likes Appalachian State's quarterback, Zach Thomas.
Yeah, he's from Trussville.
Well, they really like him a lot, and of course, he's the top quarterback, top passing quarterback in the state, in the conference.
Appalachian State lost their great running back last year. I wonder if he's back.
They've got the running back is back. Let's see here.
Their coach is Eli Drinkowitz, who was at NC State as their offense coordinator and was previously at Auburn under Malzahn. So they got a new coaching staff as well.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's going to be very competitive, and even though we're playing these games.
I've already stated I'll play 10 more Troy games than Alabama games this year. Moving away from Birmingham and only 45 minutes away from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I will definitely be attending more Troy games. I don't see myself making many 4.5-hour drives.
Mike Darrington Evans Jr. is that running back at Appalachian State, and he is the first team preseason All Sun Belt. He is back.
I hope B.J. Smith is second team.
Yeah, well, let me look. It doesn't really show on this one that I'm looking at, but I'll check some of the others. But programs on the rise.
The kid that was the MVP of that team last year, it was B.J. Smith.
And the team we're not thinking about, and they think the team on the rise is Billy Napier's Louisiana Lafayette team. There's not a bad football team in this entire conference. I'll tell you that.
How much Lafayette played Alabama last year, and Alabama got a 49-0.
Yeah.
In the first half. I mean, it was just the biggest lopsided blowout ever. But then in the second half, I don't know, Saban shut it down and played a bunch of young players, but the final score was 56-14, and
they had over 400 yards in total offense too, didn't they?
Yeah, Lafayette had over 400 yards of offense and ran for over 250 yards.
Exactly. Well, it's going to be a great conference, and let me tell you, every one of them are good. It's going to be a.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody could look at the Sun Belt and not think they're equal or better than Conference USA. Yeah. When you talk about those teams that Troy has to play.
Yeah, and you're exactly right.
I mean, Middle Tennessee, Florida Atlantic, Florida International. Of course, UAB is really turning around, and Coach Clark's done maybe the best coaching job ever. But I still think those conferences are equal.
Yeah, no question about it. And the bigger cities, some of the bigger cities belong to that. Conference, and that might be the reason.
They got some good coaches. Anytime you got Butch Davis, the former Miami coach, you got Lane Kiffin, the former USC coach. Clark's a good coach. The guy that's been at Middle Tennessee State, he's turning into like a Larry Blakeney type. I don't know how many years he's been at Middle Tennessee.
Let me tell you some fun things to think about.
Of course, his offensive coordinator is Tony Franklin. That's pretty good to have.
Yeah. Let me tell you some things to think about. Right now, we have got a new home and home. I don't know if it's been announced yet, to play Memphis home and home.
Oh yeah, that's announced.
And also we're going to play Army. And boy, you talking about a team that's gotten better. Army has really been good lately, and we're going to play them home and home when I'm here. And there's a new schedule out there that has us and Southern Miss on a home and home. Another one which will be very good. And then another home and home with Western.
It's a fan of of course, I lived in Birmingham for 17 years, and being able to watch Troy UAB. We got to find a way to get UAB back as an annual game.
I think we do.
I totally would be all about that.
Yeah, especially with their new stadium. Playing. Nobody wants to go back to Legion Field if they can help it.
And the alumni base. There's just so many Troy.
Oh yeah.
Graduates up there. Don't get me wrong. Now, if we can play Southern Miss, which you're going to play them 4 times, we can play Southern Miss every year. I'd be all about that as well. Man, that UAB, especially with Coach Clark, what he's been doing up there, it'd be great to start playing them again.
No question about it, and it's so much. Troy needs to have that real solid, like with South Alabama, the real solid, games like that. Big games that you everybody's fired up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was looking down here at the. We were looking at the West Virginia team. Let's see how we think that Coach Brown will do.
Well, we only got like 3 minutes. We might want to do that tomorrow.
All right, well, we can do that tomorrow. We'll take a look at Coach Brown, but some of the teams.
Coach Brown, just like any program. He started at Troy. He was 4-8, and he's taken over Holgerson, who had a good team this year. I think they won 8 or 9 games, but I think it's going to be tough for him to go in there and catch the world on fire. I think. You would expect maybe a 7-5. I hadn't looked at who they're going to play and where, but
there's only one game. There's only one game.
And Texas. Oklahoma and Texas are going to be really good this year.
And Iowa State's good now. Kansas is always going to be good. No, Kansas State's always going to be good. North Carolina State. Their schedule is going to be tough. He could have it tough this year.
He plays Missouri too, just like Troy does.
That's right. And of course, he plays James Madison, Missouri, North Carolina State, Kansas, Texas, Iowa State, Oklahoma, Baylor, Texas Tech, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and TCU. That's a pretty tough schedule. What do you think?
I tell you what Neil Brown did. That's the smartest thing he did. Is he brought Big Coney with him. They paid him $675,000 to be defense coordinator, but I don't think people realize how many games Troy won because of the defense under Big Coney.
Exactly.
You know, Neil Brown's offense was good at times, but they were never like 100% consistent. You know, we had several games where the offense didn't show up, especially against Boise State twice. Liberty, of course, didn't show up. Several games, Texas State didn't show up. So several times during his career, the defense won the games.
Yeah, no question about it. And he is a great coach.
Troy, I think their best year under Brown averaged 34 points a game. Most of the time, they're like low 30s, like around 30 points a game. But, they were never one of those like Texas Tech offenses when they're like 48, 49 points a game. But no defense. That's one thing Troy had was a defense.
Brown was 31-8 over the past 3 seasons at Troy. 31-8.
Yeah, I mean, incredible. Troy. Well, let's just say it. They're under the best run they've ever been under ever, maybe.
Yeah, no question about it. And of course, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely the best we've ever been at Division I.
That's right. No question about it.
If you win 10 games again next year, I mean, there'll be only like 5 teams in the country over the last 4 years that won over 10 games.
Exactly. No question about it. It's going to be a fun year, and I recommend that you
go ahead. I mean, it's going to be exciting.
Go ahead and buy your tickets.
I'm hoping that all these guys that left us, that basically they were going to, maybe be losing their jobs anyway. That's what you got to hope.
And we could have a real guru defensive guy coming up, Mike. His tutelage was right underneath the Clemson defensive coach.
Yeah, Brett Bielema's.
And right now, wouldn't you say Clemson's got the best defense in college football?
Yeah, Brett Bielema.
Our guy coached under.
Also was under Stoops at Oklahoma.
And our guy coached under those guys.
Brent Venables. I don't know what I was saying. Yeah, Brent Venables was his name.
But Hall is the new defensive coordinator, and
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
He's got a chance to really prove himself this year. Hope you've enjoyed our show today, and we appreciate our sponsors so very much. And we're going to get the Coach Cross on our show very soon. Evidently, some things came up that he couldn't get away, so we understand that very well, and we'll have him on our show very, very soon. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you're watching Facebook, pass the word that our show today in L.A. is on 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, right here on Channel 2, your Troy cable dial. Hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow.
This is Bobby Flay.
I'm coming for you, Bobby.
They say he's never had to eat his words. But if he did, they'd be delicious. They say the word flavor was named after him. They say he can make an omelet without breaking an egg.
We were hoping for that.
They say you can beat Bobby Flay. What do they know? Beat Bobby Flay, Thursday night at 10 on Food Network.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up. You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Are you a driver trainee just finished in school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the kennel for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.